Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Brandy Brubaker, and I'm the Director of Highway Safety Strategy for the Virginia Department of Motor Vehicles Highway Safety Office. We are proud to gather here today with our safety partners in front of this mammoth ladder that represents an important safety lesson about speeding we hope will resonate with all of you. Our job as highway safety professionals is to find new ways of getting people's attention, making an impression, helping people understand the consequences of their decision, and influencing positive driving behaviors. Yes, that's what this thing behind me is designed to do. The City of Richmond has been a tremendous partner in this endeavor. We are joined this morning by representatives of the city, Chief of Staff to the Mayor, Lawson, Wijesooriya, and Councilmember Andrew Breton, and they'll tell you more about the city's commitment to highway safety and Vision Zero. We'll also hear from Colonel Matthew Hanley, Superintendent of the Virginia State Police, whose troopers see the devastation of speed on our roadways every day. And we'll hear from DMV's own Commissioner, Gerald Lackey, the Governor's Highway Safety Representative. And we are honored to be joined by Secretary of Transportation, W. Sheppard Miller III, a steadfast supporter of safe roads and safe drivers. I also want to say a special thanks to our hosts, the Richmond Flying Squirrels, and to our highway safety partners who have joined us here today. Thank you for the work you do every day to make our roads safer. And of course, none of this would be possible without our creative partners, Two Tango Collaborative, Barker Designs, Brand Safeway Scaffolding Systems, and Advanced Visual Production. These folks came up with this vision and brought it to life. Thank you for using your talents for such an important cause. So let's get started. Please join me in welcoming Governor Youngkin's Highway Safety Representative for the Commonwealth, DMV Commissioner Gerald Lackey.
Thank you, Brandy. Can you guys hear me okay? All right. So I was here Wednesday, actually. I got to throw out a baseball. We are very excited to be here and partner with the Squirrels. If you saw me, I was dancing, and it looked like I was dancing on the mound by myself. There was a giant squirrel, I swear, just off camera encouraging me to dance, called Nutsy. But they are great partners, and it allows us to reach a wide audience with a very, very important message. Now, with this tower behind me, we wanted to have something that would grab people's attention and visualize for them what it would be like to hit somebody with their vehicle. I think we accomplished it. This is a 54-foot giant yellow tower that, even amongst all the development going on in the Diamond District, still stands out. You can see the top of it before you even crest the hill over the train tracks on Boulevard. And on the top of this giant tower, there's a very big, bold question that says, would you push somebody off this ladder? That's meant to make you think. Would you do it? Absolutely not. So why is this ladder here? If you looked around on the side here where you guys can see, you see miles per hour ticked off, 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 40 miles per hour. That demonstrates exactly what it would be like to push somebody off the tower and or hit them with your car at that speed. That's a 5-story tower. If you push somebody off there, that's a life-altering event, if not a life-ending event. Now, we all know we shouldn't speed. That's not really new information, right? But a lot of people out there are able to justify to themselves, why is 5 miles per hour over? That's not really speeding. That's just in that, control space. What about 10 miles per hour over? Maybe I won't get stopped. That's not speeding. Well, it is speeding, folks. And this tower is meant to demonstrate to you what the impact of those decisions can be, especially in urban areas where you've got a lot of different pedestrians and bicyclists and runners and things like that on the road. The speed limits aren't put there to inconvenience you. Speed limits are put there to make sure that all roadway users are safe, in particular pedestrians. So I want you to remember, every time you get behind the wheel, you are taking other people's lives in your hands, and you have to make good decisions. Your need to get somewhere quickly does not outweigh somebody else's need to have a life, a limb, a son, or a daughter. Now, the DMV Highway Safety Office, like I said, very proud to partner with the Squirrels. We've been doing it all week. Tonight, we are going to unveil this ladder. We are going to have a professional climber going up the ladder and videotaping at each of those miles per hour and visualize on the big screen down here we're going to have what it would be like to fall off the tower. We're going to have lots of kids here. We're going to have lots of families. We're going to have a lot of new drivers. I saw the kind of folks that come here. They're all around the community. This is an important message to get out into the community of Richmond. And we are committed to keeping that top of mind. And I also want to say I am a resident of Richmond. I live over in Scott's Addition. I'm very excited that the city has continued its commitment to Vision Zero, which if you don't know what that is, that's eliminating traffic deaths and serious injuries from traffic crashes. Mayor Avula's administration has continued to roll out the necessary infrastructure changes and partnering with folks like us to get the message out. We have seen over 200 speed tables put into place, a number of them in my area in Scott's Addition, 13 school zone cameras, increased enforcement by Richmond PD, thank you, and then supporting campaigns and advertisements. If you see them on the bus, there's a you're not a duck campaign. It says drivers will stop for ducks. Well, they won't stop for you. Those kind of messages keep this message prevalent in front of everybody in the community. I also would be remiss not to mention our partners, the Virginia State Police, whose troopers are patrolling the highways around Richmond, ensuring that those of us who don't get this message and think that we can speed are going to be stopped and pulled back into compliance. We're going to hear a little bit later from both Colonel Hanley from the State Police and from Mayor Avula's Chief of Staff. So in closing, we stand together today in one simple message. Speed has an impact. Slow down and save lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lackey. Joining us next is Lawson, Wijesooriya, Chief of Staff for the City of Richmond, Mayor Danny Avula.
Compliments, because nobody gets my name right, so that's impressive. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I especially want to thank our partners, DPW and DMV, the state, the Diamond, for partnering to make this event happen. I bring you greetings from Mayor Avula. Richmond is a proud Vision Zero city. This means we hold a simple but powerful belief. We will keep working to protect life until no death or serious injury occurs on our roads. Vision Zero isn't just a slogan, it's a commitment. Every department in the city of Richmond and every partnership we have, from the DMV to our neighborhood coalitions, is invested in making our streets safe, healthy, and accessible. The mayor's vision is for Richmond to be a city where all people and places thrive. And that means streets where no crash alters someone's life forever. Changing a city's culture around speed and safety is hard. But when it's a matter of life and death, it's absolutely going to be worth the effort. You've been introduced to Virginia's tallest ladder just behind me. It's a part of an ongoing education campaign to help residents understand the impact that speed has on real lives. We're backing up that education with strong enforcement and thoughtful engineering. Speed cameras are now active in 13 of our school zones. Red light cameras are soon to be installed at 10 different intersections. Hundreds of speed tables and speed bumps have been added across neighborhoods. I got mine on Oakwood Avenue 2 years ago. Dedicated bus lanes and protected bike lanes are being expanded to calm traffic and improve access. We're also implementing road diets and other proven strategies to lower speeds and enhance safety. Transparency is key. That's why our leadership has prioritized publishing real-time data through the Vision Zero Action Plan, which lays out our goals and strategies, the Vision Zero Dashboard, tracking severe injuries and fatalities, and our brand new citywide speed dashboard, which reveals how fast Richmonders and visitors drive on every single one of our streets. This is real-time accountability, and we hope it helps residents engage more deeply with this urgent issue. We hope that families will come out to the Diamond this weekend to see the ladder in person. It's a powerful visual that makes the consequences of speed impossible to ignore. I have teenagers, and this visual, I know, will be a tangible reminder for them, as they've heard their dad and I incessantly remind them that getting in a car is one of the most dangerous things that they will do in their lives. Wouldn't it be amazing if that was no longer true? Wouldn't it be amazing if we made that happen in Richmond? The truth is simple. The human body cannot withstand the energy of high-speed crashes. If we want to live long, healthy lives, if we want to protect our neighbors and our children, then we must slow down. Richmond is proud to lead public education and safety innovation. We're building partnerships across the city and state agencies, and we're using bold visuals, like the one behind me, and real data to show how our community thinks about safety. This is about protecting lives and building a Richmond where everyone thrives. It's about being thoughtful, responsive, and relentless in the face of preventable tragedy. Thank you again, DPW and the DMV, for being such strong partners in this work. And thank you to everyone here today and who will come to see this ladder for caring about this issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please join me in welcoming our next speaker from the City of Richmond, City Council member and member of the city's Safe and Healthy Streets Commission, Andrew Breton.
Thank you all, this is great. So I'll have to crouch down here. So my name is Andrew Breton. I'm a city councilor here in the city of Richmond. My name is Andrew Breton. I'm a city councilor here in the city of Richmond. And part of my job is walking through every neighborhood and knocking on doors and talking to residents. And almost all of them ask me what we can do to slow down traffic. They ask about the principal who suffered a life-altering collision on his bicycle. They ask about the accidents that they see, every few weeks in their neighborhoods. I actually had cars crash and land in my front yard in my first week living here. And the families of victims who tragically lose their lives or have life-altering events to excessive speeding are not even the only ones who are suffering from speeding. I meet countless families who are afraid to be out near our streets. Children who can't walk a few blocks to school or can't bike to their friend's house because their parents know that the drivers out there are speeding and their kids won't stand a chance. So our physical and mental health suffers when we don't feel safe in our neighborhood. Excessive speed harms everyone, and I'm grateful to know that the mayor understands this and that DPW also does as well. Now, I bike to work myself most days, and for residents who also are able to do that, you'll find they're happier, they're healthier, they know their neighbors, they know their neighborhood, but the average neighbor wouldn't dare to even try. They know there's that one street where drivers are going so fast they wouldn't stand a chance trying to get there safely. At least that's how they feel, and it affects their lives. Now, there are opportunities to make your voice heard if you, like me, are a resident who wants to feel safe in our streets. When you get the chance to talk to someone in the city, right? You can ask them about that pothole, you can ask them about your taxes. Don't forget to ask them about sidewalks, ask them about crosswalks, streetlights, ask them about speed humps, protected bike lanes. I think our leaders have spent the last 50 years hearing how can we make our trips faster. I think you want to make sure they're hearing how can we make our trips safer, and make sure they hear you say that. You can email your city councilor, you can sign up to speak at public hearings, City Council, the Safe and Healthy Streets Commission, the Richmond Regional Transportation Planning Organization. These are all opportunities for you to go and make your voice heard. You can work with your civic association to collect your ideas and meet with the city as a group. Because when city leaders know that it's important to you, it will be important to them. So conversations like this one today are a fantastic way to create a culture of safety. So I'm grateful for all the partners that made this happen today. We can save lives and also heal the fabric of our communities if we create a culture of safety and feel safe in our streets. Thank you.
Just a little mic fix there for everyone. Our next speaker is Colonel Matthew Hanley, Superintendent of the Virginia State Police. Please give a warm welcome to Colonel Hanley.
I'm glad you knocked the stuff off the podium because I was figuring I'd be the first one to do it. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Brandy, for the introduction. One of the things that the Virginia State Police is known for is speed enforcement. Would everybody agree? Yes. We do a little bit of that in our spare time, and we try to have a consistent, visible presence on the highways of the Commonwealth to get people to slow down, and we're constantly reinforcing the message that slowing down does save lives. Last year, Virginia State Troopers issued 64,000 speeding summonses. 64,000. We issued an additional 47,000 reckless driving summonses. A lot of those were speeding violations that were such high speeds that they qualified as reckless driving. If you go on our Facebook site, we're constantly putting pictures of summonses with speeds of 120, 130, 140 miles an hour. It's completely insane. You all see it. Unfortunately, getting summons is not the only consequence of speeding. Our troopers see firsthand the devastating impact that speeds have on cars and people when there is a crash. I did crash reconstruction for many years in my early days with the department. I've been to hundreds and hundreds of fatal crashes. And when you get on scene, you always look for two things. How fast were they going? Were they wearing a seatbelt? Those were the two biggest predictors of the outcome of a crash. On the roads, you often only have seconds to make a decision on to stop or to swerve. And when you're speeding, you have even less time to do that. At 55 miles an hour, you're traveling 80 feet per second. At 80 miles an hour, you're traveling 117 feet per second. A quick glance at your phone or at any of the other distractions that we have in our cars can be deadly. And the faster you're going, the more deadly it's likely to be. Speeding also poses a significant threat to our troopers and our police officers and emergency workers and highway workers. They're often exposed to traffic on the sides of the road. We want all of them to get home safely every day as well. I don't know how often you think about it. It was already said once here today that the most dangerous thing most of us do every day, probably the most dangerous thing that all of you did so far today, was start your car and drive here. Things happen very quickly, and yet we get complacent. You don't think about the danger when you get in the car. I don't, usually, unless my son or daughter are driving. Driving at high speeds becomes a habit, and that can start to feel comfortable too, and that's really dangerous. So today's message is important. We need everybody to slow down and buckle up, and please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Hanley. And now it is my privilege to introduce our special guest here today, Virginia's Secretary of Transportation, the Honorable Shep Miller. Please join me in welcoming Secretary Miller.
Thank you, Brandy. Councilman, Chief, Superintendent, Colonel Hanley. What a great pleasure it is for me to be here today. My name is Shep Miller. I'm the Secretary of Transportation, and I bring greetings from the Governor as well. You know, what an important topic here, and what a great way to sort of symbolize for folks what we're talking about. A fall from this ladder, 54 feet, or almost 5 stories, has the same impact of hitting somebody at 40 miles an hour. So if you want to know what it feels like, you can get with a climber later on and jump off and see what it feels like when you hit the ground. Folks, it's happened to me before. I was actually hit, T-boned by a bicycle years ago when a driver ran a stop sign. Thankfully, they're not going 40 miles an hour. They're probably going about 20 miles an hour. But I became Superman that day and flew through the air. And then when I hit the ground, it was not so great. And I'm telling you, I was lucky. A lot of people aren't so lucky. So a lot of drivers, as maybe said before, think 40 miles an hour really isn't speeding, right? But when the speed limit's 25, you're speeding, folks. Even when it's 35, you're still speeding. Now, Colonel Hanley talked about enforcement, and you think about that, and I never was a person who got a speeding ticket for being a mile or two over. They don't do that, right? Now, I don't know what the magic number is, folks, and the rule is the rule, the speed limit's the speed limit, but people get speeding tickets. They're not police out there giving you speeding tickets for a mile or 2 miles over. You're speeding, you know it, knock it off. 40 mile per hour increases a pedestrian's risk of death to 85%. So you get hit at 40, 85% of the time you are dead. You're not going to survive. Just think about that. In 2024, 410 people died in speed-related crashes across Virginia, 10 right here in Richmond. Folks, those are 100% preventable, 100%. As at the end of June, already 163 people have died on the roads in Virginia because of speeding. Folks, this is just, frankly, it's unacceptable. Every one of those numbers I've cited is a child, a parent, a friend, gone too soon because someone else chose to disobey the law and speed. And let me recognize, I think Christy King is here today. Great lady who's been great for transportation safety in Virginia. We now have a seatbelt law in the back seat. Folks, I get it. People that don't want to buckle themselves up for whatever reason, and they think we're telling them too much to do and so forth and so on. But people die that way, folks. And I just don't think it's that big a deal to ask somebody to put a seatbelt on to save themselves, save their families, save their coworkers, save society. The trauma and the damage of somebody being killed in these kinds of actions. Everyone here today that is driving is a responsibility, right? And with every mile per hour you go over the speed limit, the risk to others just increases. You've heard it here today from several people, but I'm going to say it one more time. Speed has a devastating impact. That's why I urge you to slow down. Crashes are preventable if you pay attention and obey the law. Councilman, how many people do you see riding down the road looking at their phones? All the time. All the time. Some people aren't just looking at their phones, some people are texting on their phones. Now, I get to drive around a lot in this job, and a lot of times somebody else is driving me and I'm working. So I get to look over and watch people and what they're doing in their cars. And it's unbelievable. Put the darn thing down. Follow the speed limits. Put your seatbelt on. If we just did those three things, it would radically change what we're seeing here in Virginia and across the country. Know the limits, folks. Know what the speed limits are. Follow the signs. Plan ahead. Don't be late all the time and be rushing. Plan ahead. Get ahead of it. I'm one of those people. I did it a long time in my life, always behind the curve. I try to get ahead of that now. Use your cruise control. I love adaptive cruise control. If you're on a place you can use it, put it on. It'll help you. It'll save your life too. Stay focused. As I said, put that phone down. Don't be talking to people in the back seat, turning around. Stay focused on the road, folks, and drive defensively. Know what is around you, know what other people are doing. Pay attention. This is serious business. 900 folks, about 900 last year in Virginia died. I had the great misfortune in a way of being at the Reagan Airport the night of the crash up there. And it was horrific. And I had an opportunity to meet with some of the families that were there trying to figure out what was going on. And it was just a terrible, terrible situation. 60-some people, I think it was 67, died that night in that crash into the Potomac River. And the next morning, I happened to have a conversation with Secretary Duffy, the new Transportation Secretary for the United States. I think it was his second day on the job. And as we were talking about how bad it was, pardon me, I reminded him, and he didn't need to be reminded, he knew. I said, Secretary Duffy, this is horrible, but this happens every single month on the highways in Virginia. We lose that many people every single month. And I said, what do you think we would do as a country, as a city, as a state, if one of those planes crashed every single month in Virginia? What would our reaction be? And you know what our reaction would be. It'd be a very different reaction than the reaction we have as we see these numbers all the time. 700, 800, 900. That's 70 and 80 a month, every single month. And those people, it's just tragic. So folks, follow the law. put your phone down, put your darn seatbelt on, you know, do the speed limit, maybe 1 mile over, Colonel. Follow the law. Let me say a couple last things. What a pleasure it is to be here in Funville, it says, with the Richmond squirrels so we can go nuts. The commissioner told you that he's a Richmond resident. I guess I spend more time living in Richmond than I do in my home city of Norfolk. While that technically doesn't make me a resident, I'm here 5-6 days a week, and I have been for the last 4 years. So it's great to be here. You know, in Norfolk we had the Tides. We used to play this team, but we've changed leagues. And so it's great to be here. And Commissioner, all I got to say is you are a fantastic commissioner for the DMV for the state of Virginia. And the work you have done is just unparalleled. You owe you a great debt of gratitude. But, Commissioner, that pitch you threw, that ball you threw out there, I just, don't give up your day job, Commissioner. You're a really good commissioner, but I don't think they gave you, did they give you a contract? No contract for you? Well, we're glad about that because we need to keep you as commissioner. Folks, again, symbolism is important. Falling off this is like getting hit 40 miles an hour, and 85% of the time you are DOA. Don't do it. Follow the rules. Talk to people. Talk to the young people. Explain it to them. We got to get these numbers down, and we're not getting down. And the insanity, Colonel, when you see people doing 120 and 130 and 90, that's just, you know, that's insane, as you said. So folks, on your way home today, think about that. Pay attention to the people that are around you. Put your darn phone down, right? It's against the law to have your phone in your hand and while you're driving in Virginia. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Go the speed limit. Christy, put the seatbelt on no matter where you are in the car, and we'll cut those numbers dramatically. We need your help. God bless everybody. Thank you all for your work today for highway safety in Richmond and in Virginia. God bless you, and drive safely.
Thank you all for joining us here today. Thank you to Secretary Miller for your continued support of highway safety. Thank you to our partners in the city of Richmond and Virginia State Police, and to the Richmond Flying Squirrels for helping to spread this message. Huge thank you to the people who made this ladder possible: Two Tango Collaborative, Barker Designs, Brand Safeway, Scaffolding Systems, and Advanced Visual Production. Thank you to City of Richmond engineers Mike Sawyer and Andy Bonow for coming up with the vision behind all of this. And thank you to our partners for joining us. Together, we can change behavior, change culture, and save lives, just as the Secretary said. Remember, as you travel home today, that speed has an impact. Thank you.